Well, we have about a 30-second show today because Rob summed it all up with we're effed. That's really all we are. That's where we're going to go. This is Russell and Hunter's End of the News, a.k.a. the Brewmans. He's Rob Hunter. I'm Mike Russell, and a lot going down. I think that the new emboldened ways of our media, and then we're not even emboldened. I think it is. I think some part the media was held hostage by the Biden administration and the DNC and the elites, that if you say anything wrong about Joseph Robinette Biden, if you even cover this cognitive decline, you are going to be helping Donald Trump, and that is not acceptable to us. So they were essentially held hostage, I think, in a lot of ways. Because you look at people like, and I'll use Anderson as an example. Anderson Cooper used to be it. Anderson Cooper was the man. Anderson Cooper was a example of journalism and broadcast journalism. He was fantastic. And then Trump came along, and he absolutely went off the rails, I think, because he was held hostage. Now you have guys like Peter Doocy, who were unhinged by that anyway. They're untethered, by that anyway. And now he's just unhinged. Listen to him and KJP yesterday.
Before 8 p.m. So
okay, and we cut in there. He said because the record now is from the White House. The president is sharpest before 8 p.m. He doesn't do much after 8 p.m.
Say that the Pentagon at some point picks up an incoming nuke.
Yeah.
It's 11 p.m. Who do you call? The First Lady?
Oh! Did he just dare? He's like Prince Humperdinck from Princess Bride. I think that is the first time anyone dare insult me.
That's those laser eyes she's giving him, though. Like, oh, how dare you ask me this question?
But listen to the press pool. That's not awkward laughing. That is ha ha.
That's
are you guys just not, since February, testing President Biden for Parkinson's or for dementia? Because if he gets a bad result, it's all over that day.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Peace. I'm out of here. By the way, I got a cover shoot to do. I got to go because I walk in history. I got to go. I'm KJP. I will say this before Rob cuts in here, Rob, that there was an edit in there. I did not edit that. That's the video I pulled. She actually did answer the first question before the dementia testing question. She answered in the worst way you could possibly answer it, in a very KJP way, saying there's an entire team of people or national security team that would huddle up, that would decide who is going to take this kind of news to the president in the middle of the night. He said inbound nuke from Russia. Like, what? There's no. It is, Mr. President, what's the call? Make it now, today, this second. Yeah.
It should be this. The defense secretary. That's his job or her job. But in this case, it's his job because this is how it used to work. Well, but that's what I mean. That's the protocol is the Pentagon lets the defense secretary know. The defense secretary lets the president know. I mean, it's a very simple question to answer. Even I know that. I don't even work in the White House. But this is a different kind of White House. But this is also an interesting part, the fact that you mentioned that was an edit. Because I didn't know that was an edit. But here's the thing, Mike. I don't believe anything anymore. I sent Mike a video of Joe Biden speaking at the UN, and I asked him, is this real?
Nope.
Because I can't
That's real.
Be sure if it's AI, if it's manipulated, if it's edited, if in this case you take out the Pentagon answer. So it gives me the impression that she didn't want to answer either one of the questions. So it's fascinating, again, how you receive information and how that shapes what you think about. And coming up in a bit, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tease here.
Ooh.
I don't know if the moon landing was real anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you that tease. We have a video Mike's going to play for you here.
So, but I want to stick on this if we can, because what the video Rob was showing, it sounded like President Biden said, you need to stick around because I blanked your wife. And it was mumbles. I isolated the audio, guys. Trust me, I'm not falling to the other team. I've isolated the video. It really does sound like he said that. But he mumbled I just talked to your wife. And it sounded like he said, I basically stooped your wife. And so that's not a good thing. And he didn't say stoop. Remember, if you can't say something nice, say it in Yiddish. Okay?
Well, but that's part of what the filter goes away. If you have mental, I don't know what you exactly call them. If it's dementia, if it's whatever the official term that Biden is displaying, maybe it's just age. The filter goes away. There's no like, oh, I'm in public. Maybe I shouldn't say this. You're just like, I'm just going to say this. So that's why it's conceivable that Biden would just slip back into who Biden really is, not who he pretends to be as president of the United States, because most of the time it's a role, right? It's an act.
Yeah.
Again, and this is all, the cover's off the baseball for me on so many things, Mike. that I literally am so challenged by in believing in anything that I've learned. I am having an existential crisis about it, and it's messing me up, and it's tearing me up, and I don't, the whole system that I believed in my entire life, I don't believe in anymore, at least as far as the stories they've told me.
Well, y'all just give me a couple minutes. I got to talk to my little bro here. I got to talk to my little bro. I got to calm my little bro down. This is how I do it. My little brother from another mother. Rob, I got to tell you, in now just disbelieving everything and understanding that most everything is just rigged and phony as it is, it's as freeing as going away for a few days without your cell phone. It is that freeing. Don't let it bother you, buddy. Don't let it bother you. Just fall into it. Yep.
Yeah,
that's it's just pure fake. I'm as you were saying that, as you were going off on that little rant there, and I loved it, but I was like, bro, I actually have done that. I assume that everything that I'm being lied to in every way, shape, fashion, or form, there's nothing that is the truth. You guys listen to me right now. Listen to my words. Please hear me. The avian flu, bird flu, whatever they're going to call it, that is the next shot they're going to take at you. I assure you, the meetings are happening. It's the next one coming to you.
Well, and it just goes back to this fear, right? Because even if you look at Joe Biden right now, then if you are maybe not a Trump supporter, but you see what's happening with Biden, you're going to have a fear of him running the country for 4 more years because you now understand that he's not really running the country. So there's a fear element to that. So if the Democrats and the media know this, and they've already shown their hands, that they think MAGA side, Trump side is a threat to democracy. That's just what they believe, right? Right, wrong, indifferent, facts don't matter. They believe that 40% of this country is crazy and lost. So they try to convince the other 60% that you're crazy and lost if you vote for Trump. So they're now going to jump into the fear pandemic thing because there's that 6 or 7% of voters in 6 or 7 states that actually matter. So that's what they're trying to convince is, ooh, maybe we can scare them about a pandemic again. And maybe they'll say, oh, Democrats did okay on that pandemic thing. Because the whole time ran out on the clock, basically.
Right, because the whole threat to democracy thing was simply a cover for Joe Biden.
Yep.
They had to scare you so much about Donald Trump that you did not pay attention to Joe Biden's demise. It's so clear now in what we were seeing. So the whole threat there was never a threat to democracy, y'all. None of that. I'm sorry. Go ahead and put Obama back in. It's not that he's not a threat to democracy. A president is not a threat to democracy. He's not going to be. Sorry, y'all. So that was just a cover for what was going on. And Justin, by the way, and guys, we love you commenting. Keep commenting away, even if you have a question about something we covered. Yeah, we just covered that. He did not say it. We isolated the audio. He did. He only said that he spoke to or talked to, and it just sounded as he was mumbling, like he said that. So yeah.
But it was still a weird, misplaced line that Biden is prone to do. But they're really stressing to him, Joe, dude, read the teleprompter. Let's not have any deviations, because if you deviate, well, people are going to think that you're old and can't win. And that's exactly what's happening.
No, because when he deviates, they just kick the press pool out. I want you to hear me. And I'm about to play this for you. When Joe Biden goes off script, and in this case, he grabs the mic from somebody because he doesn't care, and he starts talking about DEI, and the press pool literally kicks. This is an NBC feed. Kicks the press pool out as he's speaking. They literally wrangle him and push him out. So much so the card goes to bars. Check this out. It's wild.
I promised I was going to have a cabinet that looked like America. And
no one even knows what the hell he's saying right there. You know what he sounds like? You remember this? You guys remember, and somebody's come with me, Saturday Night Live. It was Eddie Murphy's impression of James Brown. So it's about a silver, you gonna get wet, going in a hot tub. That's exactly. It's just absolutely. You can't even comprehend what he's saying. Sorry,
a great James Brown story, by the way.
Bring it.
So this happened in Phoenix many, many years ago. James Brown was coming here to a concert. He used to have a front man, a guy that did all the advance work. Guy's named Al Sharpton, the Reverend. Al Sharpton's role when he got off the plane in Phoenix is whoever Al Sharpton, as the front man for James Brown, was meeting, said, "Where's the booger sugar?" Because
Little
James
cocaine.
yeah.
Yeah. Little
Al
nose
Jackson,
candy.
man.
Woo!
That's for you.
Reverend Al's the biggest fraud ever. Holy mackerel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry for that. Slight
It's okay. Remember Delirious? Anybody say he said, hey. He goes, that's a lyric. He goes, man, I don't know what I need to put here. That sounds good. We'll put that. James Brown used to fine his band after a concert for what they were paid. He would dock their pay for every time they missed a note coming in, just whatever beat or whatever it is coming in. But if he was just listening the whole time, you missed that, you missed that. And the guys had to take it because they didn't know what the hell he was saying. That's him. Billy. That's okay.
Living in America, James Brown. Oh, that's a phenomenal song. Also, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. Jam. The jam.
If you do, okay, so, and Rob knows I've talked about this because I'm obsessed with it. I think it's amazing. I should have these videos. I should just go download these videos. BMW back in the day, like about 15, 20 years ago, when they came out with their the new design of each of their models, they hired like Jerry Bruckheimer and, Guy Ritchie and stuff to do videos, to do like 10-minute videos with starring their new car, essentially. And Clive Owen, the actor, is the driver in each of these shows. And James Brown is in one of them with Gary Oldman. So now you know I'm getting way fired up. Gary Oldman is the devil. And James Brown is going back to the devil to renegotiate his contract because he can't do the splits anymore. He's getting old. And at the end, they race for it. Amazing.
Amazing storytelling.
Marilyn Manson shows up in the thing.
See? Put everybody in there.
And Guy Ritchie starred Madonna. They were married at the time. And I'll just say it, guys, sorry about the language. It's just titled Bitch.
Nice.
And she is handled it's fantastic. So check those out. I'll think of the name of it. BMW something. Anyway, let's get back to Mumbles. Here we go.
More minorities, more women, more labor.
They're getting pushed out.
Think about it. That's who we are.
Thank you.
That's why we're strong. We're diverse.
Thank you.
Pushing.
Pushing. Gone. Yeah, there you go, guys. That's it. President of the United States. If he goes off script.
Reminder, that's NBC News.
Yeah.
NBC.
It says right there, yo. Hold up. Sorry, hold up. Let me see the show. So Rob, Rob's saying.
There
it
is.
Look right there. NBC. There, guys. Mm-hmm. So just, you understand, they're not letting anybody in now. No. Everybody's excluded. Yeah.
It is a great time to be alive because there's so many of these lessons that we get to learn as a country and how we want to move forward, because the job of the president is to represent we the people. That's his job, right? His job is to execute the laws of Congress. We elect Congress to pass the laws and do all those things. The president is supposed to be our voice, our eyes and ears. But now we don't have any access to him because we can't have access to him because we'd realize how bad it truly is. So they think they can continue to control it, the information flow, right? Classify stuff, keep the circle real small of trusted advisors so only 4 or 5 or 6 people know the real truth. Even Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House communications director, probably doesn't know the full truth. She only gets to see the president probably once in a while. Make sure he's on point. All of this is how power structures try to influence all of us by controlling information, because information is intelligence, information's knowledge, all these good things. And this is my favorite part about DEI, though, Mike. I love DEI.
So diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yep. We know a guy who proves the point about DEIs. Mike, this is a guy we used to work for. Guy who recently just promoted someone that would fall into that category because he's a white dude. Mm-hmm. And white dudes need to look good and be to protect themselves in their position. So white dudes like Joe Biden love talking about DEI.
Yep.
Because it fools people into thinking that Joe Biden, he's so diverse. Look, he put Kamala there. He put Judge Jackson on the court. And that's why they make it as obvious as the day is long. In fact, I don't want to brag, but I have a couple black friends.
Oh, you heard it here.
It's relevant because I had this conversation with them the other night. And my friend Dee, who is a brilliant, beautiful soul, is Democrat. So we're talking about DEI and how white people, dudes particularly, are using it to promote themselves because she is starting a foundation to really deal with income inequality. And then we talked about Judge Jackson. Judge Jackson, if you're nasty. Is my
Justice Jackson, if you're nasty.
Jackson. And I said, why do I got to point out the obvious? She's black and she's a woman. Why not build her up on her credentials? And she agreed with that. Because if it comes back down to it, if you say black and brown enough, you say DEI enough, it makes the powerful politicians and the people that run companies look awesome. So it takes your eye off of them and puts it somewhere else. See, it's all a ruse and a distraction.
And Larry, it's a good point. He said, sadly, I fear the cheating may not save Joe Biden, but give the Democrats the control of the Congress, thus giving Trump only executive power. I would go with that, and I would agree with that if they weren't freaking out like they are. And when I say they, I mean Democrat congressmen and women and senators. They're losing their minds right now because they understand that keeping this man on the ticket is impacting the down cards, is impacting their own race and their ability to take the House and keep the Senate. That's it. They don't care. I think we talked about this yesterday. They don't care that Donald Trump isn't up. They make money in Donald Trump's in office. They make it. They are relevant when Donald Trump is in office. They are in front of cameras every single day when Donald Trump is president. They want Donald Trump to be president. They're freaking out because they understand that Joe Biden's clear Parkinson's, dementia, whatever it is impacting the down cards.
When was the last time you heard someone in a party suggest that the president should go? I mean, Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney aside.
They're not, yeah.
But they didn't really come into the tail end of the Trump presidency, right? So you had now it's 7 House Democrats that have called for Biden to leave. George Clooney, the actor, who Mike and I are go way back with.
We know him. Yeah. Had a little chat with him in D.C. It's fantastic.
It's very nice. Yeah, he was at the Hay Adams Hotel. Mike and I are going to have a cocktail.
Yeah.
He's walking out with his wife, going to the White House. We weren't invited to the party, but Clooney was.
No. Can I just tell you, she walked out first, and I stopped in my tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what is that? And it wasn't like in a weird, like, ooh, hey, it was like, my God,
power.
That is a stunning creature. Like, and then he walked out, and I was like, that is a stunning creature. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Look at these. We're surrounded by beautiful people.
And I think I said something like, hi, Mr. Clooney. And he goes, the old version.
Yeah.
So George Clooney seems like a very nice guy. He's a big fundraiser for Democrats, big donor for Democrats. He has access to the White House because he was at the White House. He's now calling for Biden to step aside. They are panicked. This is unprecedented.
Did you see last week's picture of Clooney and Obama in the dinghy? They're on a boat doing something, going somewhere. So they were hanging out together. So now all of a sudden, Clooney's out in the meet. Like, we don't see this crap. Like, come on, bro.
Strategy, man.
Oh, here, George.
George,
I got you your tequila company. Got that sold for $1 billion for you.
Exactly.
I need you to come out and talk against Joe. Talk some
Don't worry. It's not a paddleboard. It's a boat. It's an actual boat.
George Clooney dead in a paddleboarding accident. Oh yeah, holy mackerel. Yes. That's so this, but I don't think they're freaked out. I think Grizz brings a good point there. Basically, they're thinking Trump's the one that's going to actually save the democracy because they're trying to destroy it. I really have zero doubt in that. Zero doubt.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just read this morning how Trump is pivoting. So again, I have many issues with Donald Trump.
Ain't dumb, y'all.
But I would never say he's stupid. He is very smart. So they're looking at the polling, and he's adjusting the Republican platform. And I actually like this. For the first time in like 60 years, the Republican National Party policy does not call for a national ban on abortion. Because if you want to lose an election, that's how you do it. Because most people don't agree with that. So why say it?
And by the way, a majority of the women that are anti-abortion, that are pro-life, are against what the Supreme Court did because they're very against the government telling them to do squat. So that is where we saw a lot in the midterms where it hurt like no other, is because conservative women were like, yeah, dude, I ain't down with that. So that's mostly true.
Yeah. And it's Trump is making the party platform 20 easy to read things. Because again, what does Trump do better than everybody? Again, like I said, I have many issues with Trump, but you got to acknowledge the skills. He is a very effective communicator. He is very clear most of the time. Now, a couple times he's not clear. That's what they ding him on, right? The Charlottesville thing, the awkward with the words there, Mexican rapists, those off the script and bite him in the butt. But most of the time, you know exactly where Trump stands. You know exactly what he stands for. You know exactly what he means. It's very effective because Biden, you know.
Brendan just won. Sorry, y'all. Brendan just won. I'll read it. Have Joe watch a few episodes of ER, the ones where Clooney had bring in Clooney to advise him to step down. Joe thinking that he's a real doctor. I can't think of a better idea.
It'll probably work.
I can't think of a better idea. Well, Adam Carolla. I saw him the other day. Who I think is brilliant. Second day in a row, we give Adam Carolla props. But Adam Carolla, he said, he said this is the best way to get him out of here. He said every time Joe Biden talks about running for a second term, just have his key people around him say, Joe, this is your second term. And then he's got to be, I'm not going to run. There we go. Just like that. Just got to tell him.
Exactly.
He'll believe it.
Yeah.
Yep. That easy.
The recognition of the power and how it works, right? And you can see the strategy, the Obama strategy behind the scenes, because it was a couple of big Democrat donors publicly said they will not back Biden anymore. That's done on purpose. That's the pressure. That's the lean. You have 7 House Democrats come out. They're probably doing it for their own survival, but you can see this is a party that the Democrats are as wildly divided as anybody. And they've been trying to hide that from you, but now you can see it. Although AOC came out and said, case is closed, Biden's the nominee.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a settled science then at that point when that dingbat has to talk. Tyson, welcome, man. Good to see you, pal. Appreciate you jumping in. This, to me, it reeks of just this desperation that is so bad. And the funny part about it is that the desperation is voiced and articulated and placed in front of cameras by the most moronic, clown-like characters that they've had. The Adam Schiffs, the Ted Lieu's, the Jamie Raskins. These people are unsympathetic characters that no one can relate to because they're that far out of touch and they're morons. And these are the people that they're like, oh, yeah, threat to democracy. Today, Congressman Ted Lieu. Ted Lieu is he's one of those unsympathetic characters. Can I put it that way? Schmucks. This is where it's just reeks of desperation. Because the more the world looks at Joe Biden and now the media actually says what we've been thinking and knowing the entire time, the more desperate they're getting. They're moving away from threat to democracy and moving on to something that for years, since probably 2009, they have said is a distraction. It's not a big deal. It's nothing to worry about. And that is Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not kidding. That's the desperation there. Here we go.
Colonies. Donald Trump.
Oh, wait, I apologize. Let's jump it on the back. Here we go.
So like Chairman Aguilar said, we hear a lot from our constituents on different issues, but something I've heard that doesn't seem to be being covered are the Epstein files.
Oh.
These files were released, and like Donald Trump sort of all over this, right?
Oh,
There are
really?
pictures of him with Jeffrey Epstein. He's taken multiple plane flights with Epstein with young girls on board. He is on call logs with Epstein. One of the highest trending hashtags on Twitter right now is about Trump and Epstein. I'm not going to repeat the hashtag because we're in a dignified setting. But yeah,
Twitter
y'all
is
might
not.
want to look at that because that's highly disturbing. And again,
Okay, I want to break this down because this is so stupid and so asinine. And by the way, we're not going to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell being at Clinton's at Chelsea's wedding. We're not going to worry about any of that. No. We're talking about Donald Trump. Listen, this is breaking. Seriously, this is wild. Help me.
So like Chairman Aguilar said, we hear a lot from our constituents on different issues.
Okay.
But something I've heard that doesn't seem to be being covered.
Oh, something I've heard that just doesn't. These media types aren't covering this. Something I've heard. I have no evidence. Something I've heard.
Are the Epstein files.
Yeah.
These files were released, and like Donald Trump sort of all over this, right?
Okay, then release them one. Then let's see them. I want to see. I want to see unredacted everything. Show me that then. If Donald Trump is all over them, which he's not, show me them. Right?
He's in the documents numerous times.
Well, he's in the documents as business things, not going to freaking Pedo Island on the Lolita Express.
No. But see, I love this.
But this is what he says. So listen what he says.
Pictures of him with Jeffrey Epstein.
There's a video of him at Mar-a-Lago with Jeffrey Epstein.
He's taken multiple plane flights with Epstein with young girls on board.
Multiple flights.
Call logs with Epstein.
Show him. Show me. I want to see them all. What's that?
I
want to see them all.
Well, but I know that Trump is named in several of the documents. I do know that because I've seen it. I don't know what the flight situation was, who was on those flights, and neither does he.
Exactly. This is meant. So please understand this. This is what I'm talking about. Of course, Jeffrey Epstein, based in Manhattan, as a whatever mogul, bazillionaire, whatever influence peddler, whatever the hell the guy was. Of course, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the name in Manhattan at the time. So yes, of course he is. Call logs, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that one little tiny bit. But let's get back to Ted Lieu here. And wait, this is my favorite part. Oh, I'm sorry.
One of the highest trending hashtags on Twitter right now is about Trump and Epstein. I'm not going to repeat the hashtag because
I'm not going to repeat it because we're in a distinguished setting here. Okay, I'm going to go
all about it. Setting. But yeah, y'all might want to look at that.
But y'all might want to look at that.
And again, it shows that Donald Trump is unfit for office.
Donald Trump is unfit for office. If you look at that hashtag, Donald Trump is unfit for office. Did you see Ben Shapiro in front of Congress yesterday?
Yeah.
And then when they're asking about Project 2025, he's like, y'all just keep saying it enough, like Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, like it's going to appear. It's like, because Donald Trump is not part of it's the Heritage Foundation thing.
But see, this
Project 47 is his,
right? Yeah. But now you're hip to the game, because if you try to talk enough and say it enough, I mean, Hitler said this: you lie enough, people eventually believe it.
Yep.
Because all you got to do is say it over and over and over and over again. Your brain automatically wants to believe it. This is what they're doing. But this is so fascinating too, because there were some documents that came out about the Epstein list, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. And all of a sudden, all the Trump fans stopped talking about it because his name was on it. So this Epstein story is super bizarre because it seems to encompass the entire power structure of America. And we're not really concerned about that because we only care if it's the other side, right? We'll jump to all the conclusions we want about every Democrat on that list. But now we'll protect Trump because he's our guy. Democrats do the same thing. Oh, Bill Clinton said no big deal. So what? He was getting a massage from a 16-year-old. Whoop-de-doo. It's just a massage.
I think the vast majority of we the people want to see it, though.
I
don't give a crap who's in it. The vast majority of we the people don't care team or not.
But that's the tell. That's the tell to me, Mike, is that there's obviously massive differences between Democrats and Trump. There is. So, but what I'm saying is, at the top level, it's all the same at some point, because it's all about money. It's all about power. It's all about hanging on to power. It's all about hanging on to your reputation. And that's really what this is about. It's about clinging to this idea that they have sold you, that they're smarter, better, more elite than you, and they get to make the rules. And those rules benefit themselves and them and their friends. That's really what this story is to me. And if you look at it from a 30,000-foot view and the coverage of it and how it's changed and how now Ted Lieu's trying to use it, which won't go anywhere, but it's just fascinating that we're not actually connecting all the dots and saying, wait a second, let's look at all those people that were on there and say why. Because I thought this same way, Mike, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring up Theranos.
Here we go. It's been a minute. Hold on. Let me blow the dust off of that sucker. Wow, we haven't gone Theranos in a minute, buddy.
But this is my point. Theranos was this whole blood revolutionary test. Instead of having it, like Mike and I have the same doctor. That's big brother, little brother stuff. We go in there and it's like 17 vials of blood they take from me because she wants this big readout. Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos was saying you could get all that stuff from like one little tiny drop of blood in your thumb. And everybody believed it. All these people invested on it.
Everybody.
General James Mattis was on the board as one example. Look up the board. The board is all these smart, influential people. Yeah, exactly.
Hold on. Right here, we were the first. Phoenix was the first. They had every CVS had one of these little freaking things in it. It was a fraud.
Bingo. And that's my point. My point is the covers off the baseball and all the things. That the power structure is just a made-up power structure that is protected by people that get fooled by lunatics like Jeffrey Epstein, that get fooled by lunatics like Elizabeth Holmes. So we have to pop the bubble on this elitism because it's not really elite because they're still humans just like us. That would be where I would go with this Epstein story, regardless of who's on it.
I have to because Lynn just teed it up. Lynn, why do you tee it up? You said had no disabled person on their administration, not too diverse. They're all mentally disabled, my man. So yeah, they covered every base, pal. Every single base was covered. Why do you got to tee it up like that? I'm sorry, is this I want
to ask Lynn though, what would that mean to you, Lynn, if say a White House did say give a high level position maybe an assistant cabinet position, maybe a cabinet position to someone that had that. I'd be curious to find out. So, Lynn, if you want to answer that, I would love to know what that would mean to you. Would that mean that finally someone's representing me and people like me?
And we had a Stuart Smalley reference there, so great job, Brendan. Of course, and that
always
was
bringing the heat.
well. What was that? Who's that? Dang it, Robbie, you know me in names, buddy. Senator Stuart Smalley, the SNL guy.
Al Franken.
Thank you, Al Franken. Yeah, so disgraced. He tried to get back in the game.
Yeah.
Said he was wrongfully ousted for something that was obviously a joke. Dude, you literally were grabbing a sleeping woman's boobs.
No, it was just air. It was just the air.
Good. Show me that. I want the other camera angle that shows me that here's palm, here's boob. I want just this. Okay, like this. Okay, never mind.
But that's see, right.
I don't want to tee Grizz up like that.
Yeah, right back to that point. These people are no better than us. We just have convinced ourselves because they keep telling us how smart they are and they went to Harvard and they're way much better equipped to make decisions about your life than you are because you're dumb.
Here's an issue I have though, and I don't think I think there's a little bit. I understand they keep saying it over and over again and keep telling the lie. I get it. But here's the deal that I think is a different tactic that we don't talk about enough because we keep going back to that Hitler thing. Is this stick and move mentality? So the stick and move is tell a complete fabrication like Ted Lieu just did and move on from it. Get the headline, get the tweets, get everything you can, and maybe get on a couple of shows and maybe say it, then move on and never speak of it again. And plant that seed in more people that see it and see it and see it. And Rob and I know that what we do is about impressions. Rob and I know very bad impressions, but I'm talking about visual impressions and audio impressions. So Rob and I can most likely talk about what we talked about at the very beginning of this program, and only a few of you have already heard it. So we can that's kind of a stick and move. We could keep popping that in different spots and just get a completely different audience. That is a DNC tactic that is just, and I'm sure they aren't. I just haven't seen it very much because the media covers all of the stick and move tactics to the left. It's just it's interesting to point out. Ted Lieu, that was a classic stick and move. I'm just going to put this out there in front of some press, and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, maybe the press will finally understand. Maybe we should look into this list a little bit. Oh, is Trump on there? Maybe we should take this seriously. But here's another opportunity for Democrats. If Ted Lieu was really smart and really strategic, he'd figure out how to release this list because it would alter the power in the Democrat Party. Because how many powerful Democrats and Democrat donors are on the Epstein list? That's really the interesting part about where Ted Lieu could take this. But Mike's right. Again, all of this is to protect people from you knowing the truth about them. I'm convinced of this. This is why 1 billion documents every year are classified. It's not because they have secrets and there's sources in Afghanistan we need to protect. Sure, there is that, but it ain't 1 billion documents. They're covering up their ineptitude. That's why Julian Assange was public enemy number one. It's not because he released classified information. It's because our Pentagon covered up a bunch of nonsense that the Army was doing, murdering civilians. That's why they went after him. That's why they went after Edward Snowden, because he showed you the cards. And that's why Edward Snowden has to live in Moscow, for crying out loud.
He's married, got a kid. He's good.
Yeah,
he's fine. He's moved on.
LIVIN out there in Moscow, baby.
Yeah, just a little chilly. A little chilly.
Summer destination. Yeah. Does Russia have a good summer destination?
Is Crimea still around? Crimea looks really nice when they had the Olympics there. It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah.
I think you probably only travel to like several countries. Russia, China would probably be like, yeah, it's cool if you come here.
Come on over.
Got a very limited number of places you can go without getting arrested.
Could you imagine a guy that got busted for something like that going to China? He would have an entourage of Chinese officials just following him at all times and watching what he's doing, who he's calling. Everything would be, he'd be on lockdown. You must stay in Russia, bro. Bread lines aren't that bad.
Moscow's lovely.
Yeah. I actually saw it. I see you go on and see all these influencers, the people that run around, and these independent journalists that are running around through Moscow, just going like, it's hustle bustle here, man. It's all good. Going through Kyiv, there's more bars and restaurants open in Kyiv than prior to the unprovoked invasion by Russia. They're happy. Everybody's having a good time. If you're basically one socioeconomic class or below, you're on the front lines. There you go. It's headed in. The elites partying up.
So I like that. Again, it goes back to this idea, right, of what we think is real is not necessarily real because of the information that we consume. And at the very beginning of the program, if you missed it, I'm struggling right now to believe in anything. I feel like everything that I once believed in is BS or manipulated in some way. So I feel a certain way about things that I haven't felt before. And it's creating this massive lack of trust, Mike, and manipulation that I constantly feel. And it's very hard to shake all of that because it's everywhere around us.
I agree. And that Greg asked if you think Biden will actually end up stepping down. I think it'll be Biden won't do it on his own. It will literally have to be if the DNC wants to do it and they're good at doing it and it'd be easy for them to do it. Leak a Parkinson's report. Leak a doctor's note, whatever it is, findings, test results, leak something, and then it's just done. He has no choice. There's absolutely no choice.
I don't think he's necessarily going to step down. I think he'll ride it out till January. Just won't run because I think that's the safe bet. Because again, you have to avoid chaos. So you're going to have a strategy like Mike said. You're going to have a doctor come and look at Biden in August.
They have been already.
Yeah, but I mean, they know they have been, but you
leak it out.
You stage it, right? You stage a visit. Oh, we found something. Oh, it's a couple weeks before the convention, but Joe's good enough till January. And then we're going to hand the reins over to Kamala. Kamala is going to do the acceptance speech at the convention. And then life is grand until Kamala loses in 2024.
Gets mopped with it's just absolutely silly.
I do better than Biden though at this point.
But I think it's possible. I don't see it not happening. And I think Rob's right in that. And to avoid chaos, I think a lot of it. I remember during Obama's birth certificate, the big birther kerfuffle, right? I still to this day, I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care if it's real or not. Do not care. Don't even have a dog in that hunt. Don't care. What I do know is this, is that late in the game of his presidency, if it truly did come out or if it comes up tomorrow, that was a faked birth certificate, guess what? We had the largest constitutional crisis in our nation's history. We are jacked. Our markets so I just kept saying, and Rob will back me on this. I'm like, fine, if you think that the birth certificate's fake and he wasn't born here, then they slip one past the goalie, guys. Just,
happens
defend
every day.
protect yourself. Then, don't let this happen again. But we can't. You can't put this toothpaste back in the tube. We got to ride it out and let it happen. This is what it is, guys. Yeah. So I think it's the same thing with Joe. If they're going to be a fakey kind of thing, do it fine, get it done. Let's just make it happen.
Yeah, and because look, to just even bring the Epstein point back up just for a second, and Brendan, your comment, he comments on YouTube as Business USA. Or just confirm any of the Biden family stories, right? All those allegations, the money, other things that are worse than the money.
So I think impeachment didn't go through.
But this is the thing, right? It's a protection racket at that stage, right? Yeah. The reason you don't know all the names on the Epstein list is because it's a protection racket. So politics is a protection racket. So they're going to do it in the dignified way and try to make Joe the good soldier. And he's going to have this big hurrah speech about America and not letting Trump win and America rules and I'm awesome and I did great. I just can't do it anymore. They will let him go out as the dignified soldier, retiring, not force him out. Because that's the way these things work, because it's not about the truth. It's about the facade of the truth. It's about creating the narrative that makes you believe they landed on the moon.
I'll get to that in a second, but they actually put Joe Biden there as his thank you for half a century of being a good and willing soldier. And you did good, bud. Here you go. You get to ride out into the sunset as president of the United States. No one can take that from you. You got it. And Joe Biden's going to lock you to the Resolute desk and never let you leave because she won't let go of power.
And think about from a legacy standpoint, because all these knuckleheads are obsessed with their own legacy and their own name being remembered like it matters.
Yeah.
If Biden understands he's going to lose, he'll step out because he doesn't want to be the guy that beat Trump and then lost. He's going to guy that beat Trump. He's going to forever be the guy that beat Trump. And the Democrats can say forever, he's the guy that saved democracy. Because that's all they want. They want to protect the language and the narrative around these names so they appear to you to be like heroes down the line. That's all this is. Marketing. It's a marketing campaign.
I guess one positive thing. If you're a Joe Biden supporter, they're going to tell Joe Biden he will go down in history as the greatest president of all time, which of course he'll go down as the worst, but he'll believe it to his death, and that's fine. And if whatever, give the old man a hand, whatever. Okay, you did it. You made it happen. Okay, Rob has been all over me about this moon landing. Let me tell you why I brought this up. Because I remember, everybody here, obviously you all are people, you guys remember the Blair Witch Project, one of the worst movies in the history of horror genre or just any suspense. It was terrible. Rob, did you like that movie?
What was it again?
The Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah, I did see it. I saw the movie theater.
I'm so scared. I saw it too. And my buddy, actually, dude, Fred or Jay, if you're listening right now, pop in. I saw this movie with him. And I'll never forget it. At the very end, it goes to black, and he yells out in the theater, "That's it!" And everybody starts laughing because, like, what the hell did we just watch? But prior to the movie's release, it was on the Today Show. Was it not as a movie? It was like it was a real documentary. There's these witches in this forest, and there's horror movie. It's all real.
Found
and
footage.
The lead up was, and then you watch the movie, and you're like, well, that's stupid. But the movie made $1 bazillion, and that's the way it goes. Same thing with The Interview. And who is that? A Seth Rogen gig?
Seth Rogen and James Franco were in.
Thank you, James Franco. And then they said that Sony has been hacked. North Korea has hacked Sony, and we were covering it. I remember over at the other station, we were actually covering it like it was something that was real. Something was going on. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, they're actually taking down Hollywood. It was like this weird thing, and it was all hype for the movie. People were afraid to go see the damn movie. They thought there was going to be some terror act or some war breaking out if that movie's successful, and it was absolutely stupid. Here's what I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to come back to that thought. Rob, do you think that's good? Let's go ahead and show. Let's actually show this clip first. So this is
really went to the moon and spent $200 billion, you would never destroy the technology. But one of the clips we have is them saying that they intentionally destroyed all of the equipment to go to the moon. All the diagrams, all the hardware, all the schematics, all the original telemetry of where the rocket was at the time, and all the original videotapes. Ron Howard's grandfather warned him the moon landings were fake. He didn't listen. He wanted to make an IMAX movie. He went to NASA, said, give me all the originals so I can transfer it to HD, and project it at 120 feet wide. They said, give us a couple of days. And in those days, they lost every single original videotape from every single Apollo mission. Now, if you really went to the moon and spent $200 billion, the last thing you would do is destroy that technology. But if you perpetrated a fraud, that's exactly what you would do.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Why would that video be released right now? And by the way, I'm going to go get a maroon curtain and those headphones, and everyone will think I'm on Joe Rogan's podcast. This is Rob broadcasting live from Austin, Texas. The problem is that I know what's happening here because I was just at the damn movies this weekend watching Horizon. And by the way, you got 3 hours of your life. Wait till it comes out on Max or something and streaming. Holy crap. It's good though, but damn, it's long. Anyway, and during the previews, I saw a preview for a movie called Take Me to the Moon. Movie stars everybody. It's got. I should have had the trailer pulled up, and I apologize for not having the trailer pulled up. But we don't have producers around here like Joe Rogan. We can't tell somebody to pull it up. But there's now a movie about faking the landing, about faking the Apollo landing, and the directors coming in, the actors, and all this, and who they got to play. The Neil Armstrong and all that, and it's a movie about faking the landing. And all of a sudden we start to get people on these shows and start to get them a lot of press on, hey, did you know we pretty much faked the landing? Fake the landing. And then people, oh, there's a movie coming out, I want to go see it. So about a bunch of crap. I'm tired of getting duped like this, but but actually before I saw this thing, I did see the trailer. I do want to see that movie. It actually looks pretty damn good.
Channing Tatum is in it, I just saw. And who is the lead of the female? It's Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, darn right. What's up, girl?
Yeah, exactly. I actually
Black Widow.
I thought I watched a Woody Allen movie that she's in. I think it's called Vicky Cristina Barcelona, and I was like, wow, ScarJo can actually act. She's a good actress, not just an action star. So, just on a side note,
hey, acting as if you're Natasha Romanoff is not easy.
No, I mean,
okay,
it's not easy, but she has range.
And pulling off the black leather. Come on, it can't be easy. That's acting.
That is true. Plus you got to really work out, be in shape to put that form-fitting thing on. That's hard work. Okay, so anyways, back. I don't know what to believe anymore. Again, this existential crisis that I have. Is everything I've been told a partial truth? And the answer is yes, because humans are complicated. History's complicated. Because I always try to think about this. It is a massively great human achievement to go to the moon, land on the moon, and return a man back to Earth, as Kennedy put it. But what's the point of it? What was the point?
It's the same point of the Olympics. Tell me I'm wrong. It's literally the same point. There's no benefit of doing this garbage again. There's no benefit of it at all. Period. Now tell me where the benefit is. It's the same as the Olympics. There's no benefit of the Olympics. We're just like, yay, USA, great. We were the first up there. That's it.
And that's the challenge is now I'm like, all right, with what I know about the government, is it possible? I'm not saying I fully believe it, but is it possible they lied about the moon landing? And the answer has to be yes, because they've lied about every other stinking thing that's been of importance, at least to a degree. Now, to go to this video, Mike, that you played, it's also a bit of dissonance in there, right? There's a bit of a disconnect because, yeah, okay, NASA destroyed the tapes. That's one way to look at it. I just did a quick Google search and it says, no. NASA didn't destroy them. They reused them in the 80s. But they still have the original footage. So again,
what do you mean reuse them, like record over them, like we used to do with our tapes? No.
Yeah. NASA's budget was probably
Shut up. Don't even. That is the most important, significant piece in the history of space anything. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and record over those because we want to save some money. Government wants to save some money. If you can tell me any point in time where that was a case, then I might believe that. Please.
But I mean, again, I don't know. I don't know what to believe, so I don't believe any of it. I believe that it's possible that the moon landing was fake. Now, to Greg's point, 9/11, I'm like, that's way too complicated for the government to pull off, in my opinion. Way too complicated.
But would you be surprised?
Yeah, I would be surprised at that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would. That would shatter everything I've ever believed about humanity, the world, power, trust. If that were true, that one would be insanely devastating. Insanely devastating. Like, think about.
I agree, pal. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it's fake. I said, would you be surprised? That was what I was asking.
I would be surprised. Just the level of complications in that and figuring all that out. I think it's the actual opposite. I think it could have been found out, but because the government's the government and compartmentalized everything, they couldn't put all the pieces together. That's what I think. I think that it actually shows the true nature of the government and how they really can't do a good job protecting us. But the moonlight.
And Lynn, is the thing of the conspiracy theorists. It's what's a conspiracy theory now? It's kind of like it goes back to what's real. So anything that I would say is what is government, Mike? The government's idiots. I totally agree with that. But what I'm saying is that everything that doesn't support the current narrative of those that are the ruling elite and those that are in the media. If it goes against it, you're a conspiracy theorist. There's a quick label to put on somebody. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm just kind of adding things up and asking some questions because what you're telling me is so vague and so full of what we obviously know are mistruths. Why can't we do our research? Remember when we were told during COVID, don't do your own research. You're an idiot if you do your own research. You're a conspiracy theorist that we would ever do anything like this and make it bigger than it is.
Yeah. So I love this, Mike, and Lynn, because I think that this is the key. The key is we have to be open-minded, especially with each other. I'm happy to talk about the 9/11 conspiracy and what people believe. But just because I don't believe it doesn't mean I think you're necessarily wrong. You've been looking and reading different things than I have. I now understand how information works. And I like to say language is contagious, like a diet. Your brain becomes what you consume, right? The language that you consume, just like your body becomes what you eat and drink. It's the same principle. So I think we need to get away from calling each other names, regardless of what we believe, because it prevents us from actually having a conversation. Because again, what is the commonality here? The commonality is a distrust in government. That's my favorite thing to talk about. I've been talking about that for 25 stinking years. And finally, I think people are coming to understand that even on a story as 9/11, you could kind of go, I could see the government doing something like that. Now, what I think is really the turning point, though, was after 9/11, because I think you can make the case the government turned on us. The Department of Homeland Security, the Fourth Amendment violations, the Edward Snowden NSA spying that he told us about. You have millions and millions and millions and trillions of dollars that has been funded through your tax dollars to people that make backscatter machines. I haven't found any terrorists yet. It's been 23 years. Have not found one single terrorist in an airport. Not one. And how much money do you think has been spent? Because I don't know how many different X-ray machines I've seen in the 23 years since 9/11 when you put your bag in. It's been 4 or 5 different iterations of that. That's tons of money. So that the part right there where they just take your money and just like, oh, we'll give it to our friends. And I'll point it out this way. One of the people that made those, I know Mike's just like, oh, here Rob goes again.
No. I'm actually just thinking that. I got you.
Yeah. So that one of the first the machines that was an X-ray machine for your bag was a company that Michael Chertoff was on the board of directors in. Michael Chertoff was the first Department of Homeland Security secretary, or the second. He was the second one. Tom Ridge was the first one, if I remember correctly. So again, you connect these dots. It's not necessarily a conspiracy, but as David Schweikert, our congressman friend, always warns us, it's about the money. And Arrow, I see your comment about the Bible. It's definitely something I've been thinking about, reading the Bible.
The nutrition, he said, is what scared me, because Rob said your body's what you eat and drink, and I'm tacos and hops. It's essentially
what it is.
made of tacos and hops.
Mm-hmm. I'm Sour Patch Kids and Skittles and energy.
Exactly. We got rid of Oreos. That's good. Yeah. All right.
I cut down on my Oreos. I did have one the other day, though. And my mother
Greg's identifying as his wife. That's hot right there. I like that. That's well done, pal.
My battery died.
God, that's funny. Okay, I have a question. Can I ask a question, Rob? Because I want the crew's opinion on this too. Because it's interesting to me that over the last 24 hours I've been going through some stuff with my ex, and with my new girlfriend in her family, because someone in her family has fallen sick and is in ICU. I'm not going to get any more details than that, but she's getting better. Things are fine. But I was listening to her tell all the crew, the circle of friends and people and influence, what's going on, keeping everybody up. Why in the world, and she's on speakerphone doing this, why in the world can't people just be like, oh my goodness, okay, seriously, okay, she's going to ICU, that's fantastic. I know that hospital. The hospital's fantastic. I've heard great things. Just keep us posted. Would you like us to what do you need us to take care of the dog? Do you need us to help with the kids? What do you need to do? Instead of this is what I heard mostly. People, why are we doing this? They're like, oh, yeah, my Uncle Ed, he died of that 3 years ago. Yeah, it came on quick, died quick. Oh, yeah, that's tough. Oh, yeah, I suffered from that a while ago. It took me months to get back on my feet, I tell you. I'm like, y'all, show some chill. Like, people are telling you, like, we're going through a hard time in our family. Like, oh, yeah. Like, why? Is it like some inclusion kind of thing, or misery loves company? Or is that you've been waiting for that misery to come along that you could just latch onto it and say, aha, I had that too, and it was miserable, so they can be miserable with me. I'm absolutely blown away by what I've seen in the last 24 hours.
I think you're pointing out there's a lot of commonalities. It's how we communicate. We're not really good at that. We're not really good about thinking about other people all the time. So I have a communication course that Mike knows about, and one of the main things I teach in it is, before you speak, consider your audience, whether it's a person of one, whether it's your wife, your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend.
Yeah, read the room.
Group of people. Yeah, read the room and say, am I expressing something that only is relevant to me? Like, oh, yeah, here is a family situation.
Yeah.
About how I had the same family situation. It didn't end well. What? That makes no sense. Just think. Just think outside yourself for 5 seconds.
Ronna brings it up right there. Main character syndrome. Like, I want to be in that. I forgot all about that. That's actually fantastic. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Boom. I've never heard that before, Rhonda.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's very true. I'm the one that's important here. I want you to, that's terrible. I want you to switch your thinking of your own family member who you love and adore and is your hero in life. And I want you to switch to me and ask me about how hard that was for me, or, oh my gosh, I didn't know your uncle died, or I didn't know this. Holy mackerel. That makes so much sense. That's why we have the most brilliant people in the world. I love our people.
By the way, yesterday was a ton of fun. You guys asked us a bunch of questions.
What a bunch of fun.
Yesterday. We're going to do some Q&As, AMAs. If you're a Reddit fan, ask us anything. Well, ask me anything. Ask us anything. What is that one? AUA? We're going to do that. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do it randomly and see what happens. But yeah.
Hey, what are you talking about? Huh?
Ask me anything. So,
ask us in AUA. Okay, got it.
Yeah. AMA is what you call it on Reddit, the website Reddit.
The American Medical Association?
I mean, there's a lot of acronyms. Hard to keep
I would
track.
think so. Yeah. like in South Park when NAMBLA wasn't the North American Man Boy Love Association, it was the North American Marlon Brando lookalikes.
Sweet. Way better.
Yeah,
way better.
So much better than that. So much better than that. Holy mackerel. I knew a guy. I actually knew a guy who had he started a gear bag company, like a bunch of like digital gear when the world started to go into, basically could fit into a bag. And he saw that name in some African something or whatever. And he named his bag. He named it. He had a prototype he carried around and said NAMBLA on it. Like, guys, NAMBLA is a real thing. The North American Man Boy Love Association is a real thing. It's been defended by the Civil Liberties Union. It really has been defended by the ACLU. It's disgusting. Dude said NAMBLA on his back. He was on a tram in Vegas and got his tuchus kicked. People just started beating him. Had no idea.
Yep. Like, oops.
No idea.
Power of language, power of communication. By the way, I did see, Greg, you mentioned that Val at least was here for a little bit. Val had a visa challenge here in America. He had to go back to Alberta, I believe, isn't it?
Canada.
Yeah. So that's a shame. We don't like when the good ones have to go home, but
yeah, should be back.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Val, fly to Mexico.
Yes.
Come near the border.
Well, Rob and I'll meet you in Yuma. We got you. Don't worry about it. But we are going to charge you standard coyote fees to Sky Harbor, though, which we sorry.
Look, you got to pay the bills,
Yeah, gas ain't cheap, y'all.
Exactly.
Yes. But anyway, I was just blown away by people. It's like it's a lot like when there was a while ago that I had I won a houseboat trip to Lake Powell a whole week in a houseboat, big giant houseboat, which gangster, right? And so it fit 12 people. So we invited 10 people. The people, and they're all ready to go. Everything was good. The people outside of the circle that didn't get invited that knew us, horror story on top of horror story. That's all they would say. They wouldn't be like, oh, what a great trip. You guys are going to have so much fun. Here's a couple of beaches that I recommend. If you're going to fish, do this. Nope. It was, you were going to bust props. You're going to go through so much money. Oh my gosh, the gas on those things. The wind at night, if you don't have it tethered properly, is going to blow the whole thing over, and you're going to get the insurance. Let me tell you something. Get the insurance. Like, I was blown away by why can't we just react with just kind of like, yeah, that's cool. Good job. Yeah, that's really fun. That's
what
great.
Rhonda said. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not get to go, so I'm going to ruin your time because I'm scared. Yeah. And I really think that's a big part of it, right? Is we often communicate from that fear space because fear is such a prominent part of our lives because we don't have to contend with what our ancestors had to contend with. Like, it's one thing if you're telling that story, like, okay, one time I went into this lion's den and, Uncle Billy went to the lion's den and there's no more Uncle Billy. So don't the lion's den.
Yeah. Don't go to Arizona. I'm not, I'm going to Arizona, rip my uncle's arms off. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, no, stay in the car. You'll be fine. Like, relax. You don't have to talk me out of it. I think that this is a big part of it is where I used to think until today that America's biggest challenge was our national debt. I really think now our biggest challenge is a communication problem. I really do, because we can't talk about anything on a real level because we're afraid of the truth, or we want to ruin it for you if you have a good time. Like, well, I'm glad you had a good time. My life's not so great, so screw you, buddy.
Must be nice. You guys are radio show hosts. Must be nice of me. Like, really? Come on.
All you do is talk on the radio. Yeah, that's all we do. We don't do anything. Yeah. We show up at 4 and we talk till 7 and we leave. Yes. Or we show up now at noon and we leave at 1. We don't do any reading, any prep. We don't plan. None of that. It just happens.
New catchphrase about people. Oh, is it a new catchphrase?
Yeah. I love my wife's is people gonna people. And people have been peopling since people have been people. That's all a good one.
I heard one is fantastic. Actually, I just made it up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. It's somebody I've never heard it before. I think I just made it up. I'll put it on a t-shirt. Maybe I'll write a song about it. Mm-hmm. God is great, beer is good, people are crazy.
Life is a trip. And
I can claim anything when we're streaming, buddy. I can claim anything.
Absolutely.
Mine.
Absolutely. But I think this is that point, right? You can claim anything you want. You can believe anything you want. The reality is up to you. Literally, reality is up to you. It's not about what's happening in Washington, D.C., unless you live there, because it's not your reality. Yeah, maybe your tax rate goes up and down. What I really would like would prices to go down. I really would love the former president to explain what his plan is for that, because I get anxious when I go to the grocery store now.
Yeah.
I've never been anxious in a grocery store before. And I'm like, okay, what can I buy? What can I not buy? Trash bags are how much now? Oh my goodness. Thankfully, eggs kind of came down a little bit, but they're still elevated in price from what they were.
Yeah. You try to lower your carb intake like me and my fatness to get rid of some of this beer weight. And it's like, holy mackerel, dude. What everything is not in a bag that's like loaded with preservatives. It's really expensive.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why that is. Want to go to a conspiracy theory here? You want to go to conspiracy theory on why EBT covers fast food and convenience stores?
Oh, that's very deliberate. We need you as voters. Here, keep eating stuff. Keep distracting yourself. It's like that we read the quote. I can't read it because it's too long and I don't have it in front of me. Chuck Palahniuk, the guy that wrote Fight Club, he said that Big Brother's already here. Big Brother is taking all of your attention so you can't think. You have no creative ideas because we're just consumed. We're consuming, not creating. Let's put it that way.
I'll tell you this. So we'll talk about this tomorrow. There's a new way where every single thing in your life is going to cost more money, but it might not cost Rob the same amount. Here we go. All right, y'all. You are amazing as always, and it's too much fun hanging out with you. I wish we had more than an hour, but we got an hour, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it tomorrow at noon right here on Russell and Hunter's In Other News. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hey, guys, share this out, retweet it, all that stuff. Just let everybody know that we're here. Is it still called retweet, re-X? I don't know. Just do that. Like it, comment, do all that stuff. We love having our peeps on X as well, so just share that out, and let's keep it going. You guys are amazing. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Russell and Hunter's In Other News.